Now, let's talk about situational best practices. Now, don't skip over this part and say, for the next 6 weeks, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to eat out, I'm not going to travel, so it's not important to me. Because at some point, you are going to do all of these things. So it's important that we know how to handle these types of situations, even if you plan on being your best self during these 6 weeks and really kind of staying in bounds with all this stuff. Eventually you want to learn how to handle going out to eat, traveling, maybe having some drinks, these type of special occasions. So I'm going to get into it. Now, with alcohol, there are some general guidelines that we want to follow. We want to make sure we're sticking to clear drinks for the most part, like just straight liquor. And this is going to prevent you from getting all those extra calories that come with beer, wine, or maybe like mixing in some sugary chasers. If you want to mix in some club soda, some people even do water, that's totally fine. It's not adding any additional calories. But what you want to avoid are those sugary drinks and those high calorie drinks like beer. And then we want to avoid eating bad when going out to drink. You guys have to think of it like this. When you are going out to drink, you're already getting a ton of extra calories from the alcohol. You are already committing to jacking up your sleep. You don't sleep well when you drink alcohol. Even if you sleep for a long time, it's not good quality sleep. And then also your body stops metabolizing fat. Literally, it's just the processes necessary for you to metabolize fat are not going to work as efficiently when there's alcohol in your system, because alcohol is a toxin and your body is now focused on detoxing that alcohol, getting rid of it. So instead of metabolizing fat, it's going to metabolize the alcohol, and that's going to make it more difficult for you to burn calories. So with that being said, we cannot have a bunch of drinks and then eat bad at the same time and expect to feel good the next day or the next week. You guys are going to drink, then I want you to eat less. With that being said, I'm sure you have heard not to eat drink on an empty stomach. Keep in mind, you're going to catch a buzz way faster if you're eating less. So you don't have to drink as much, and that'll be a good thing so long as you know your limits. So we want to only drink if it's absolutely worth it. All right. If it's just you and your girls or your boys hanging out on the weekend, it's not really an occasion. If you have a wedding, someone's close to you, or a special birthday or travel, something like that, where it's really worth it, then we're going to follow these guidelines. We're going to make sure we get ample amounts of protein during the day, because you're probably not going to get much at night. And then we're sticking to the natural whole ingredients, really trying to keep a clean diet that day so that you can spend the extra calories on whatever drinks you want. Now, when it comes to eating out, this is probably something that you'll do a lot more often, or maybe you're just going to pick up food, right? So the same rules apply whether we're ordering out or if we're actually, sorry, or if we're actually eating out with friends. So when it comes to eating out, I want you guys just to make a general rule to skip the appetizers. Most of these appetizers usually aren't that great anyways, so this will literally help you save anywhere from 500 to 1,000 calories. And probably whoever you're going out with, especially if it's a group, they're going to order some stuff anyways. So if you want to just nibble and have a couple of bites here and there, that's fine. But we really want to avoid like having your own designated appetizers or sides. And then we want to do our best to stick to the ingredient list, right? We're sticking to the same system, the same portions. However, you have to be really specific about how you order these foods. Have you ever gone out to eat and maybe you ordered a steak and vegetables, and then there's just a big puddle of butter at the bottom of your steak? Your veggies are drowning in oils. This healthy meal is no longer healthy. So what I want you guys to do is order your meals the same way that you would make them at home. Ask the waiter or waitress to make your food without any type of butters or oils, any sauces or dressings. You ask for that on the side or not at all. And they can bake, steam, grill, and season your food however they like to make it taste good. I want you guys to be like a connoisseur of high quality meals. So instead of going out to the steakhouse and having like this buttery steak with the mashed potatoes and whatnot, realize you're at a nice restaurant. You want to get good quality foods so that you can order your steak without the butter, without the zip sauce. And it's a really good, clean, high quality steak, something that should still taste good without all that extra stuff. And again, if you want to nibble on someone else's dessert or whatever, you have a couple of bites. Now you're full on the good stuff, but you still get a little taste of the bad stuff, and it's not going to ruin you. All right, same type of rules apply for traveling. So we want to make sure that when we do go out to eat, we're following this eating out guide. But when you are traveling, you have to ask yourself, is this a business trip or is it for pleasure? And a lot of you guys that travel a lot for work, you need to really get it together and stay on the same path because it's happening all the time, right? You always have to travel. For you guys that are traveling for pleasure, then you're going to have fun. You're going to treat yourself. You're going to live your life. But what I want you to do is maintain your protein goal no matter what. Start your day with a workout. Doesn't have to be crazy, but at the very least, go for a long walk on the beach or wherever you're at. And I would say for every other day, at least, really try to get in the gym and get after it. So if you're staying on a trip for like 5 days, at least 2 of those days, I want you to go in your hotel gym and get a nice sweat, because that's going to make you feel so much less guilty for going out that night. And also, this is the more important part. When you come back to your normal routine, it's not going to feel like you're starting all over again. You're just going to pick up right where you left off. And again, we have to decide, are we devoting calories to alcohol or bad food? Because if you do both, you're not going to be in good shape by the end of that trip. When it comes to your fruits, I want you guys to have these earlier in the day. We talked about it in the nutrition consultation. You want to have your carbs earlier in the day so you could use it as energy. And then we want to stick to lower glycemic index foods. That means they're lower in sugar. They're not going to spike they're not going to spike your glycemic. We want to stick to lower glycemic index foods. That means that it's not going to spike your blood sugar as fast. So really any type of berry will work great. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, cranberries, and cherries, apples, grapefruit, pomegranate, orange. Those are really great and low on the glycemic index as well. All right, so when it comes to your ingredients, guys, stick to the list 90% of the time. That leaves 10% of your calories to come from whatever bullshit you want to incorporate. Just have to really control those portions and do your best to adopt that paleo style of eating. Paleo means that if it was not alive at one point, then we don't consume it. Animal protein, fruit, vegetables, nuts, all of these things were living organisms at one point, and they're naturally found on God's green earth. So that means our body doesn't have to work as hard to digest it, and they don't have these type of filler ingredients and calories in them. And then any type of seasoning, herbs, hot sauce, lemon juice, salsa, pico de gallo, all of that stuff is great. Adds a lot of flavor, doesn't add a bunch of unnecessary calories and ingredients. And when it comes to water, so important. We need to get 1 ounce of water per 2 pounds of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to get in 100 ounces of water daily.